morning to you kids once again. It's your old buddy, Grandpaw Koyote, coming to you, from here in the higher climes of Colorado, man. Way up here in the mountains, but we still got them rising above us quite a ways yet. It's pretty neat. Here we live about 8,200 feet in elevation, and there's mountains rising 8,000 feet above us here. Isn't that cool? It's amazing, isn't it? Altitude. There's something nice about hanging out in these higher altitudes, I tell you. I'm sure many of you have felt it in different mountains and different places all over the world. You get kind of a buzz up here. You're like, it's higher energy because you're at higher elevations. You get more sun because the air is thinner. You get more life because the vibe is higher. This is why many, of your ancients used to go and isolate themselves in the mountains and the prairies and the deserts, because those are the places where you're closest to that which is real in this world, instead of all this other crap that we've imagined and we live in. I look back on my life. I'm an old truck driver, done a lot of that in my time. And I've done a lot of business in my time. When I was a young man, I was in the theater business and then the movie business. And over the years, one time I had a little cookie company, gourmet cookie company. We had a blast with that one, guys. May bring it back sometime. But anyway, and I had a little marketing company. I've just done all kinds of different things, run ranches, It's been a vast and varied experience. You feel kind of weird living a life like that because you're certainly not like too many others around you. Not many can just change direction like that, That shoot, when life redirected me, I just picked it up and went no matter where it was. And when this spirit journey started in earnest for me, back about 18 years ago, 19 years ago, maybe it was 20, I don't know. I can't keep track of the years. I did a whole complete switch again, Spirit just kind of tricked me into it, so they were straight up and honest with me always and told me this is what's coming, this is what you're going to do, and I'd look at them and say, well, yeah, but I want to do it my way. And they'd get me out on the highway, and there we were, man. When this spirit life hits you, when your heart truthfully begins to open and you begin to live in the reality of love, which is creation creating and experiencing itself. When you begin to live in that, it changes you again. Your entire life changes. Takes you off in new directions quickly. So babies, I'm telling you, you got to be willing to change, especially now. We're in this time, this season of the opening of the heart here on Mother Earth. And that begins within us first, we human beings. And as we open, our mother opens. As she opens, we open too. You know what I mean? So I don't know about you guys, but the last couple of weeks, man alive, been dragging some ass. It's been difficult, but sweet. Ancient old pain coming out of me, and processing like the Dickens, and having to go loosen myself up a little bit here and there so I can just discharge the energy of it and stay alive. Heck, I was out in the sun a couple days ago, could barely walk in it, good grief. It's funny, it's this process and we're going through, and there are those who take the reins for you and help you out with it, and that's kind of what I do to an extent. But, it's all inside of you, too, But in other words, I get a little more exaggerated version of it than many people would because I'm dealing with what I call essential energies or primary energies, those that are close to the source, the center of life. And these are bringing us forth gangbusters. But in order to do that, there's a lot we're letting go of. And the biggest element is the control we think we've held in our life through our mental processes and our emotional outbursts and so forth. If you look inside yourself, there's been an element of yourself that has always tried to manipulate and control this life, and many times we've let it do it. We felt like we had to. The fear was so great inside that we might fail or be eaten up by others or whatever the silly fear was. The other side of ourselves had to worry itself into existence, into being, and start being contrary, because we needed a contrasting voice. And we sure as hell got one. So in that pain, we're dealing with that contrasting voice. Some people call it ego, you know. It's something that's been modified inside of us. Ego, as we call it, is not a normal human trait. I know it doesn't seem that way, because so many of us have some finely developed egos, man. And they can serve you fine if you just walk away from the shallowness, the fear of it, and let it settle into the heart. Then you talk about change that's complete. That's when you find your divine personality. So when I speak of heart opening, goodness gracious, babies, this is becoming conscious of that which you do not see in these unenlightened states. This is opening your eyes and living in the true reality of love, where we're joined by all these other beings that right now seem to be invisible to us, yet in the blink of an eye become all too apparent. See, it's living life on the fuller levels. And you know, babies, this starts by being honest about what's behind the scenes, too. That's an element of it. You got to see that. You know, you got to see how the darkness operates if you ever want to make some peace with it, which we're doing. You got to see how it operates. And then, in the meantime, learn how not to react combatively to what you're beginning to see. Now, I highly recommend you read my book, The Atomic Bum. I wrote that like 12 years ago. It's a great book. It took me like maybe 9 years to finally get around to editing the thing myself and getting all the layout done and all that, because the original just wasn't what it needed to be and I had to fix it up. But anyway, I highly recommend that you check this book out. It's called The Atomic Bum, B-U-M. It's by Coyote Bear. That's my pen name, K-O-Y-O-T-E-B-A-R-E. That's the author's name. Pen name for old Grandpa, of course. But I call it that because I let it all hang out. Well, there's a lot that's still behind the scenes, because I could only give you so much, especially back then. But you need to read that book. Check it out. I mean, there's electronic copies kicking around. There's hard copies available on Amazon.com and all the other booksellers out there. And not only will it help me, you know, get by in this world by providing a little additional income, it'll help you by providing a little additional wealth in the way you see things. Helping you see behind that veil so you can see not only how darkness operates, but how the light then operates within that, and all life works and lives in harmony despite the outer view in which we live. That sounds like much craziness to some people, but those of you who have already settled inside have found some peace. You know the world of which I speak. And this is the world we're developing. This is the world we're stepping into simply by living in it. That's what we've created already. Now we just realize it. Let it come to us, through us, for us. Be it. And that's where we're headed. Hey! And you got to expect there'll be angry little outbursts, but it seems like they're getting less. You know, it seems like they're finally settling down a little bit. But you are in a world surrounded by anxiety everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. And, you know, if you watch the tube, you're probably getting tons of it, you know. Because things are changing. Everyone feels it. Everyone knows this. And a lot of people are in denial about it. That makes them even more anxious. And next thing you know, they're trying to compensate. You know, work harder to be bad. Instead of looking out for what might be best for all. That's the one thing you got to keep in mind. what is best for all. You know, that's the life you're living. That's the life you're leading. And babies, I don't care if you feel it or not. It's coming to you. It's coming through you. It's going to be coming out of you too. You're going to find yourself actually becoming kind and thoughtful to one another as this process goes on. And those that can't change, transform, babies, all at once. But we're going to take it soft and easy on you because we don't want, you know, to jerk the quilt off the baby and make them freeze. You know, it's too much of a shock, you know. So we soften you into it. And I'm not going. I've told you somewhere back in some of my other videos just how we're going to do that. But I tell you, just one fine day, you're going to wake up and you're going to be remembering things that you didn't remember before, and you're going to be seeing things that you didn't see before, and you're going to know things that you've always known, but have been able to deny inside yourself forever and ever, it seems. But that denial will take a soft exit. We're fixing you, babies, and we're doing it a little at a time. So right now I'm speaking to the directors of this life, those that are feeling the sweep and change, those that are finding their heart finally awakening. It can be a frightening process, because like 3/4 of ourself says no. We don't want to be enlightened. We want to stay here and struggle, etc. But that other quarter that still resides in the heart, bringing forth the consciousness that helps the other 3/4 see through its own illusions. So you don't really have to worry about it. Just give yourself some time to season into it. I've been spending hours and hours and hours in communion with the heart, processing these energies. I feel the earth inside of myself. I feel her pain. I feel her justice. I feel her warmth, her creation. The same is inside of you. It's in all of us too. So as we're processing on a personal level, as we're going through the energies of some of our experience and releasing and letting go of that which has held us back for an eternity now, our eyes become softened. We open and see and live in divinity. Yeah, it seems impossible, kids, because we've been made to feel, by our programming for centuries without end, we've been made to feel awfully damn small. And as I look back on my life and all the struggle within it, and I see all that I've done, how I've fought against the reality, and, you know, push, push, push. You know, I learned early on to deal with frustration and be frustrated, you know, and oh God. But I know none of that was necessary, except for the experience of you and I. That's why we live it. But we're always in a state of constant harmony. We don't have to use trucks to transport our goods. We don't have to use money as a means of exchange or barter or trade of any sort. When the caring becomes true concern for one another, guess what? All of those elements go out the window anyway. We don't need them. What useless vehicles. Yet the experience of them has been valuable beyond belief, and that's why we've employed them. We had to see the most corrupt sides of ourselves as well as the least corrupted, and understand corruption does not truthfully exist. It's an experience we've created for ourselves so that we know the opposite. That from total freedom could come total slavery, and from total slavery, a bounce back into total freedom. And what can be better than that? That's the swing through the eternity that I'm talking about. That's what we've done here as human beings. And in the meantime, processed and assimilated a whole lot of energies from a whole lot of other beings and races and powers. And so we're setting any aberrant energies right as we make our own transition along with our Mother Earth. So hang in there, dear babies, you sweethearts, you love those. Christ Almighty, we love you. You just know that it's worthy, it's worth it. It seems sometimes they'll make you doubt, they make you feel small, they make you feel unwonderful. Don't worry, just plow through. And give yourself the time to see beyond all that you've done in this life and all that's been done to you. And see how it truthfully is. How this is just an experience we've chosen for ourselves. We needed to know that. I can't emphasize that enough. We needed to know this. Every heartache in your life is valuable beyond belief, and you have the greatest joy for having been able to live through that moment. No matter what it is. We all have broken hearts. Broken hearts heal fast when you begin to see that you volunteered into it. It's a chosen voluntary experience that helps you develop what we call ripeness, the depth of appreciation, an indescribable desire to create from the most pure essences of love. That's why we've chosen this experience here. Our Mother Earth, too, she's gone through it for the same basic reasons. Baby, I love you. You got to keep rocking and rolling, strumming and strolling, because it's good for your heart, and it's a great new start. And man alive, we're about to go in overdrive. Just hang on to your jeans and drive your machines, and let's get there real soon, baby. Because it's time. And baby, there ain't no stopping it now. So old Coach here says, make your plays, baby. Let your heart come forward. Don't drag your feet any longer. Let them feet lift right off the ground and no longer be held down by what is behind you, but be moving ahead by realizing you ain't dead. Now, do you feel the life within you? Good God Almighty. Don't we rock and don't we roll? Babies, I love you. We're going to stroll. Catch you in a bit.
Searching for a rainbow, and if the wind ever showed me where to go, you'll be waiting at the end, and I'll know I'll see the hill with that pot of gold. I'll see the hill with that pot of gold.